Hi Ben, and welcome to Colliers TV. Good to have you on our show.
Thanks, Joe.
And I'd like to start with this market, the real estate market.
Sure.
Right? Looking at your trajectory, and by your trajectory I mean Assetz trajectory from the time you started to where you are right now, you all have kind of made it look very easy. So the first question, in this market, how easy is it? Because there's a perception in this market that real estate is really easy. You buy a piece of land, the land value appreciates, and you make a lot of money. How would you respond to that?
Yeah, I think there was a time, I guess, about a decade ago that in part that was true. People were turning from industry and taking land and building, and pretty much everything was getting sold, within reason. And that led to a whole lot of, disjointed developers participating in our marketplace. I think Credai has, the association has over 300 developers listed with it. Now, going forward, I think that number will shrink and shrink and shrink. And definitely it's not easy. And we're seeing that right now. So the market's soft. It's a soft market. I wouldn't call it a completely bear market from a residential trading point of view. There's still quite a lot of activity, but it's a more true market at the moment, and that's difficult. So we're seeing some consolidation take place, and that means less and less developers. Consolidation is not in an international context of buying companies; it's more buying projects, and that so the 300, if you like, will come down and continue to reduce. And there's an overlay of influences that are driving that. We've now got the new real estate bill, which will make it more complex. Funding will be for projects will need to be more robust, and that means you need to be of a caliber to deal with that international capital or domestic capital, monitor, manage it, and make sure that the projects are strong enough to be able to return that capital with a decent return. Otherwise, the tradition of taking advances from the public while you sell your product won't be accepted now. You need to have a more robust structure. So therefore, the businesses particularly in residential will require higher levels of capital, and that will mean more professionalism. Similarly, you're seeing in the commercial space, the big boys, the big brands are doing really, really well. The Embassies, the RMZs, the Prestiges in Bangalore particularly. And it's going to be very, very hard for new players to enter that market in a competitive fashion with the off-takers, the tenants. Why would they take a risk with someone else? The capital support that these businesses have is very, very strong. It allows them to drive out efficiencies in their structure, and they're all good, and they're going to continue to get better. So the place, if you like, for that 300 or the unprofessional, disorganised people entering the space is just getting harder and harder, and that's great. So what does that mean? It means a more professional environment, professionals getting a larger opportunity in this space. It's no longer just a politician's game of land banking. It's a game of professionals with business cases putting forward the best opportunities in seeking capital. Means investors have a much more hygienic environment to participate. And as that drives forward, I think we're going to see certainly consolidation, but also investors being more comfortable to participate. And returns will probably come down, so yields will probably compress also. But they'll compress for a logical reason of risk reduction. And that's something that we're certainly looking forward to. So it's not easy.
That's an interesting response, but in that response you actually highlighted the opportunities and the challenges, right?
Sure. And
because of the challenges, it's not easy anymore. So a lot has changed in this industry since you all entered. I just like to focus on the customer, because you just touched on the customer. Today, as you see the customer, let's take the commercial segment and the residential segment.
Sure.
They are very two different segments. Today, as you see the customer, What do you think is the top three things he's wanting from someone like you as a developer, right? Because that's obviously change, which is one of the big challenges. And
Yeah.
how are y'all tailoring yourself to that customer need?
Yeah, I mean, we're as a brand, we're young still. So we're a decade in the market, and compared to our main competition, we're still very young. And it's a roundabout way of coming and answering your question. I think security is sort of the number one thing, and that security comes with brand, comes with the history of delivering product, and that security of I guess an individual within their family, within their community, if you like, not feeling like a fool. The products or any brand or any product can only be really supported if the customer believes that they're going to get their just delivery of what you're saying you're going to do. And that's not true over necessary for the whole segment of the market, because value buyers are there, and they will just look for a cost. But overall, I think the most important thing is that there's belief that they will get that product.
Now, in terms of your history, like you mentioned, you're a new entrant into the market, even though you've been here for 10 years. Do you see that as a disadvantage, or are there advantages in that? By
Sure.
that I mean, can you learn from mistakes made by others?
I think in part yes. Let's just wind back. So we're in terms of residential, we're the largest residential developer in India that is foreign.
Yeah.
And so that's unique. And I think the fact that we're foreign, our customers expect, I think, more from us. And that's a challenge, because we're still in the same, we've got the same pressures, we've got the same environment, but people expect more because we're foreign. And that's particularly around governance, transparency, delivery, and we take that very seriously. So although we're only a decade into India, we're able to take advantage of the idea, as long as we continue to deliver on it, that because we're foreign, we will be doing things in a more rigorous fashion. So that's one aspect, and we take that responsibility seriously. Certainly, having the opportunity to see where people have made some mistakes, and we do really focus on our competition. We look at what they're doing, and I guess it's agility would be my main area that we feel that we can work harder around our product creativity, and offer more, and we're perhaps a little bit more exposed to other markets, and we can drive that experience into other markets around Asia. Drive that experience into our product and offer that product.
So let's just talk a little bit about Assetz going forward. What segments do you see greatest growth in that you're focusing on?
Sure.
And what is your vision for Assetz 5 years, 10 years down the line?
Look, the journey that we started, unlike much of our competition, we're not a family business. And there's a lot of great things that happen in family businesses, so it's not at all to take away from those businesses that are generational family businesses. We want to create an institution. And I came from a company, the only job I've had was with a company called Lend-Lease, which is an Australian investment and development firm, real estate investment and development firm. And it had a diversified portfolio, funds management, construction, development, and it was quite entrepreneurial. I guess taking that experience, it's a business style of business that we want to build here, and it's what we're doing. So we going forward, the focus is around making sure we're getting building talent and acquiring talent, which is very, very difficult in the current circumstances of the market. But that's a big focus for us. and been able to bring that talent through the businesses. As you're aware, industrial and warehousing is a space that we're very excited about.
Yeah.
We see that as something that we can do nationally over time. It will take us time. We want to do that with partners. We don't necessarily want to do that all on our own. So we'll develop where we're strong, but we'll partner where we're not to build a national base. It's scalable. Human error is lesser than, say, high premium residential or other sectors. So we feel that that's a space that we can deploy capital successfully.
Nice. So, an interesting trend I'm seeing, just listening to you. I mean, the first advantage in the early years was, just acquisition of land was itself an advantage. Then access to capital, and that is also an advantage, especially now. And once you have those two, I can see that you have graduated to innovating on the product and working with what the customer really wants. So do you see that transition happening across the industry, or are you all unique in that?
No, I definitely see that happening across the larger developers.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's more and more focus in it, and there's some great products being created. And it's going to become tight. It's going to be tough.
Which is good for the market.
Which is great for the customer, good for the market. It means that the pedigree and quality of and the importance on delivery to the customer is going to become more and more focused, and there's more and more product out there. So post-delivery management of the facilities also will become a really important selling point. These are large facilities. Managing those facilities going forward, issues like water, power, connectivity in all its facets are going to be really, really important, and that and the ability for people to assess very, very quickly how developers are performing on that basis and not because of social media will help some and make some not go so well. We had as a family, we had a choice of what to do, Singapore or with Lend-Lease or stay. We made the decision to stay because we saw the opportunity. And I will say, it's been a painful process, and I probably wouldn't do it again. But grit, determination, and the belief in India, and being willing to hold on. India kind of hugs you back if you hold on long enough, and approach it with a generous heart, and approach it with the right idea of just doing an honest job.
And one more question attached to that. You've worked in other countries.
Yep.
Do you see that as a strong advantage or a disadvantage? Does that increase your frustration level? Let me put it that way.
So, Japan, Korea, obviously Australia, a little bit of time in Singapore, but the market the level of sophistication in those markets and the level of sophistication here, very, very different. But they're catching up, and it's catching up quite fast. We have the REIT legislation now will drive a lot of change once they start to come on the market, and the investors will demand a certain level of governance and control and reporting styles. That evolution will kick in. Yes, it's frustrating, but the depth and breadth of opportunity is such that you have to be willing to stay the course. And sitting there and complaining about various challenges, those same issues are the opportunity. You can't have it both ways. So you need to stay the course, and I think there's a whole lot of opportunity. And I think now I might have got my timing a decade out, but right now I think it's a very, very exciting time, interesting time to participate in India. The environment's changing significantly. Technology is making some of that change possible. The various political changes and focus on growth, both at a state level and a centre level, mean that India has a significant opportunity, and it's very diverse. And there's plenty of room for good businesses to participate. Yeah, I probably wouldn't do it again. But if I was if I was 10 years younger and making a decision to participate now, maybe I think maybe.
But we certainly are glad you did it from India. I think it brings a new breed of developers in this market. It brings some variety. It brings some competition. I do believe personally. I do believe that these changes, or assets coming in and investors coming into this market, has accelerated the process of maturity that we've been through. So on that positive note, Ben, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity. It's been great. All the best. We look forward to seeing a lot more innovation from Assetz and a lot more path-breaking projects. It's early stages. There's a lot more conversations to be had over the years. And with that, thank you very much, Ben, for this opportunity.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks.